Welcome to the Riot Podcast. This is our show. It's the Thursday, May 4th edition of this very show. The show that's here to serve you and all your needs.
What an intro. Very impressive.
Thank you.
So make sure you text and say hi to this very show that we hope you'll be impressed by texting 877 to RadioU and let us know if you're enjoying the podcast today.
Lots of good things.
Mm-hmm.
We finished talking about marijuana.
And
dogs eating
and
it.
dogs. They were just saying how there's a huge increase, and especially with edibles, as places have certain things more legal now than before. People are being more careless with them, and then I think it leads to a bigger discussion of other gross things your dogs have eaten. So
And
there it is.
let me tell you that a lot of people, if you're not in the world of marijuana, you think of just edibles and you're like, what was that, a brownie or something? But
Hudson can give you a
they can
deep
put
breakdown.
marijuana in anything
A
these
peach
days.
ring, a Swedish fish,
'Cause wait,
a brownie, a cookie.
They can't even have, your dogs can't have brownies. So
Yeah, that
No,
makes
exactly.
it true.
Exactly.
It's supposed to have that, so
That's
you should be
true.
You should be paying attention to make sure that you're not just throwing out stuff that your dogs or other people's dogs could get killed by.
Or children.
Yeah.
And there's many things. I talked about how one of the big ones for me, not even just weed, was gum. It was a terrible thing. And so for me, then I got into the question of what are you allowed to throw outside?
Anything that's biodegradable.
My thing
right?
is, what about this? Have you ever thrown the dum dum stick?
No.
Right out.
You haven't done that?
No, outside?
I love
Why
doing
not?
that.
It'll just disintegrate.
out the window.
The stick?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I never caught that.
As long as it's the paper one,
But yet
not
again,
the plastic one.
How bad would you? Because you think about it too. We say it's paper, but how bad would you feel to take a sheet of paper and just throw it out the window, or crumple it up, throw it out the window?
And you know
That
what?
feels like littering.
I found that stuff in my yard too, and it takes a while.
For it to
disintegrate.
disintegrate.
Or the sometimes boxes that soda or
cardboard?
beer boxes come in. Yeah, and that that'll blow out of people's recycling, and then it doesn't just go away.
See, I think
No.
it's more about how you look, though, because I'll throw out an apple core because obviously that's fine.
That's a fun one to do.
Obviously.
But I have to wait because it doesn't mean that the car behind me is obviously I see that she's throwing an apple out.
Yes.
That's fine. It just looks like you're littering.
It does.
So you have to be aware, but also it has to be the right moment.
I've got a real life example. What about a sandwich wrapped in the sandwich paper?
No,
I'm not throwing the sandwich paper.
I mean, the poor
No.
animal's going to eat the sandwich paper.
I'm gonna throw
Is that bad?
I'll throw the sandwich. I'm not throwing the sandwich paper.
It's not like Jimmy John's where it's all waxy and got stuff printed on. It's just a piece. It's just a thick.
Is it
I
plastic?
don't litter paper though.
Yeah.
I don't throw paper
You mean you
out.
don't throw the paper to the tree?
Yeah, I don't throw the paper out. I feel like that's wrong. But a dum dum stick doesn't feel like paper to me.
Do you see the inconsistency?
It does.
Yeah.
But it also, this is the other thing too. A dum dum stick, it's real tiny.
Yeah.
And so I can just throw that in the yard. You'll never even see it. A wad of paper. That feels wrong. It does. I know.
But the sandwich part you're okay with though?
Oh, it's awesome. Any kind of food.
Yeah.
For sure, you can
But-
throw
Good to
outside.
go.
All right, so say you're throwing that, say you're on a walk and you're like, I cannot eat the other half of this sandwich.
Yeah.
And so you unwrap it and you throw it in the yard,
Yeah.
it's someone else's yard.
Ooh.
That just brings weird animals to
True.
their yard.
Yeah, it'd be exciting for them.
No, it's not.
be
And how would you feel if you walked out your front door and there was just a ham sandwich laying in your front yard? I would be like, what is that?
You would feel
I
like
look
someone was trying to tell you a message,
It's
like they
crazy
didn't
too.
like you.
But also, if you did that at a park, I feel like that would the park ranger might come at you.
Yeah, because
Be like, what are you doing,
Again,
fella?
it's what you look like doing it, and you're gonna look weird. So
Yeah, you
Even
look
though
ridiculous.
the chicken sandwich, it'll make some animal very happy.
then throw it in
I
the
don't want
woods
that in my
part.
yard. Yeah, I don't want it in if that was in my front yard, I'd be like, what in the world? I'm not going to touch it either. I'm going to leave it there.
Because, again, if I throw an apple, I don't just throw it in someone's grass. I wait till the woods part come
the
by.
I try to go
highway.
Yeah,
ditch.
you throw it out that way.
I'll throw ditch as
The
well.
median?
the median.
The median. Have you ever thrown something out the window and it didn't go how
It
you
goes
thought
on
it
the
was
side of
going
your
to?
car.
Maybe the side of your car,
Yeah.
maybe the car behind you lets out a honk.
I don't know if
Yep.
I've thrown stuff, but I'll tell you what I have done.
You try it.
Spit out. the
Yeah,
window.
you have. Did it come back at you? Did you make it out of the car?
No, it makes it out of the car, but it gets all over the back windows.
Oh, yeah.
And it
You can
dries
see.
on there. If it-
Yep.
Yep.
I know
It's
exactly what you're talking about.
It's not good.
But what are you supposed to do if you have like that phlegm thing? Like
You're
I've
talking about-
had
you're
that
talking
pretty
about a loogie?
recently.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have
You
to
can't-
pull over, or just find the wrapper from your sandwich that you threw. Spit into
If I
that.
just held on to that, it'd be fine.
Well, okay, there's other stuff in the podcast too, but I feel like we will let you be surprised by the other stuff in this. But
Isaiah writes a podcast description. You can read
that.
right?
As always, though, join us at RadioU Riot on our Facebook or our YouTube channel, and make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications going. Tomorrow in the podcast, we'll check out the new Mountain Dew flavor, the summer. Is it breeze or freeze?
Summer freeze.
Summer
Breeze is
freeze.
Seals and Croft.
Doesn't breeze make more sense? That's fine.
does.
We'll
That's
just
something
find
different.
out.
It's a song.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Summer breeze.
Here we
Makes
go.
me
We
feel
talked about
fine.
this too.
Hey, could
Right
you
now.
just sing that one line over and over
Just
again
over
to
and
me?
over.
That song doesn't really work with that. So
Have a great day.
See you guys.
catch you next time.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
What if, people are tired of Twitter, right?
I think they've been tired for many, many, many years.
And they just keep getting more and more tired.
But there's still some faithful to it who absolutely love it and, won't leave it.
And even the people that are tired of it, they don't leave because there's nothing else like it. Or is there? I don't know if you've heard of Blue Sky. Have you seen that going around?
So that's the one that the guy who started Twitter, who left, obviously, is now started another newer one, and that's what Blue Sky is.
Yes, but Blue Sky, at the moment, I think it's a very similar setup to Twitter, but it's invite only. And because people are getting so frustrated with Twitter and so eager to find something new, you can now buy a Blue Sky invite on eBay.
From Blue Sky, or are you buying it from other people who got the invite?
Other people who got the invite.
Okay, so
Blue-
it's like a third party.
Blue Sky will give current users, it looks like once every 2 weeks, you get one invite code to add somebody else. And so some people, instead of adding their friends or colleagues or whatever,
Will sell
are
it?
going ahead and selling it on eBay. 41 invites have already sold on eBay, most for over $100. And there's even one up for the buy it now price of $6,900.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But the others are going for like $100 or $200. If you were really bored and had some extra income, okay, fine.
What if? Yeah, but think about if Blue Sky is the next Twitter. Think about how much it could do for your brand.
I don't think that there'll ever be another Twitter style social media. I just think that's not what people are looking for. So I don't know if anything will ever be what it was. If that makes sense.
All right, you're not getting a Blue Sky invite, okay?
Well, I'm not buying
I
one
don't care how
either.
much you spend.
But you get what I
because
mean.
your attitude
It stinks.
It's not conducive to the Blue Sky mindset that we actually have developed, that we're developing at Blue Sky.
I feel like none of us are into as much sharing our thoughts in a Twitter-like form, and that social media style is kind of gone.
Yeah, we're really losing our ability to write
Exactly.
anything. And so Blue Sky might not be the best for us, but wouldn't it? I know $6,900 plus $5.10 shipping. That seems like too much.
Well, that's just a person trolling it.
Yeah,
so.
but for a couple $100, isn't that worth the excitement, the thrill of a new opportunity, a new fling that could develop into something more?
Oh, I think we're desperate for new social media. Like everybody's just would really like something new, but you could get the invite, but no one's on it. So then there's no interaction.
They'll come in time.
Well, yeah,
it's not that there's not demand for people. People want to be on it.
Sure.
They're only giving out a few invite codes.
It's like when
though.
you're the first person to move into a neighborhood and there's no one else there yet.
It sounds beautiful.
It's like one day you'll have friends,
Yeah.
but you just won't have any now.
I want to be on Blue Sky. I don't know if I can cough up this couple of $100, but it's just like, think of it as going on a first and second date. That's what you're doing. It might fizzle out and wind up being nothing, but you spend a couple $100 and maybe this is the person you're going to marry one day. You might spend the rest of your life with Blue Sky.
You might love them forever.
You might.
So if you are trying Blue Sky, the new Twitter alternative, Hudson would like one of your invites.
Yeah, hook me up.
I don't need it. He wants it.
Would go my whole life without signing up for Instagram,
And you'll
arguably
do
the
this?
most popular, but Blue Sky, I'm in.
I
You
think
know what I
you're-
hope on Blue Sky? No pictures.
Your social media is a little backwards.
I'm trying to get ahead of the game. If I get on Instagram, I'm just behind.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
A chat GPT, what can't it do? Seriously, what can it do?
Well, we
I'd
find
like
out
to know.
every week. It's always in the news somehow.
Can't make me a sandwich.
Give it
Not
time.
yet. One
it can
day.
tell you how to make one.
It could, yes.
Yes.
A good
You-
sandwich, probably.
Then you need a robot to actually run the program.
It could probably give you 10 creative ideas for an old new sandwich.
That's true.
That has never been thought of before. But I'll tell you one new thing that ChatGPT can do for you, and that is find you a home.
Ooh, it can help.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying. Just depends on which area you're in.
If you're
Still
ready
tough.
to buy a house or you just want some assistance browsing, Zillow now has a new ChatGPT plugin that they're rolling out to select users only at this time, but they're going to continue to broaden that access more and more until eventually probably available to everyone. But you, if you have this enabled, will be able to tell ChatGPT basically what are your parameters for something you're looking for, and then it will service you a whole bunch of Zillow listings that might be something that might be a good fit for you.
Now, originally, when I heard this, I thought you mean like the Zillow search bar.
I was going to say, you mean like the filters you
Yeah.
can use on any websites?
But they mean more. So it would just be more tailored, custom, a little bit better than just even the search algorithm thing can do.
It's true. I find that on many websites that the filters they're still limited.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to be more specific or more broad. So that's something that can be helpful. I don't know if I would use this though. I just kind of find it fun to just scroll through. I'm not looking for anything particular. I just like looking, you know?
like looking at houses?
Yeah. Do you think this, Nikki, that Zillow is like Tinder for married people?
Absolutely.
You scroll through, you're like, nope,
Isaiah,
definitely not that one.
Let me tell you. So, Isaiah, what happens is even if you're not looking to move into a house,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's fun to look at houses online. And I know that sounds stupid, but it actually is,
It's true.
especially houses you can't afford. Because
Yep.
then you can kind of like dream.
Oh, that's way
one
out of my
day.
league.
You
You
guys
say.
sound like that sounds like cheating. This just sounds like cheating.
Yes,
Yes,
that's what
I've got 30 years left to pay off my house, but it's really fun to look at these nice
Yeah,
new
I'm going
cute
through
houses.
It is.
a little bit of midlife crisis. This house doesn't really get me right now. Like we just kind of grown apart.
There's
so.
also a whole world of like strange, weird houses. And so people love, if you're into that sort of stuff, to look them up and just see like, oh my gosh.
Like
what
your
is
little kink, I
yeah,
got
like
it.
what's the person doing? So I like to look at houses.
Sometimes you see a house that only has one picture. You're like, red flag. No chance on that one.
But there's a lot of mystery there too. You're like, what
That's
could it be?
right.
It's the forbidden house.
Yeah, that's Zillow for you.
So if you want a more tailored or in-depth look-in search feature, you have to have the ChatGPT plugin for Zillow, and it's not for everybody. So I don't know what they're doing to pick who gets to do this.
And now after this, I think there might be a ChatGPT plugin coming for Bumble.
for Bumble.
Yeah. Help you find a new date.
Your search
you put in your
features,
parameters.
Yeah, we're never
Gotta be
enough.
super hot, not too tall, and also live within 30 miles of me.
Now we're back to the Zillow
Yeah,
feature.
Yep.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Counting on my friends this morning to help me out. Not just friends, but coworkers. You guys are hosts of the show too.
Yeah.
And people need to be informed on the new Dune Part 2 trailer.
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
But the trouble is, I can't watch it.
Do you like Dune?
I like Dune. Yeah, the first movie was great. The first Dune was
Wait, the
fantastic.
first of which first? Because wasn't there like old Dune movies?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
then
no,
there's
You gotta be more specific.
The Dune, the Denis Villeneuve Dune that came out a couple years back with Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya was real good.
But it only told half the story.
That's right.
It's what I've heard.
There's 3 of them.
A third of the story.
So
Goodness.
that's what people got mad about the first Dune of the most recent ones. I hate when we just can't make new movies. We just have to remake old ones because everybody's mad because they felt like the first one didn't really do as much. It was just ushering into the second,
setup.
which will then usher you into the third one.
Yeah.
You gotta be patient.
The first one did end in an ending that wasn't an ending. So that was frustrating. But up to that point, it was great. And then it leaves you on it's not exactly a cliffhanger, but you've just been waiting all this time. You watch the first one, you're just like, come on, let's get to the second one already.
Well, so you're not going to watch it, so you want us to?
Yeah.
Okay, I did watch it.
Yeah. And I trust that even if you guys wanted to spoil it for me, I don't think
we
you
don't know we could.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, did you watch the trailer eventually and you saw the first movie? It looks exactly the same.
I was going to say, not to give anything away, but there is a lot of sand. It's everywhere. It's almost the whole background of the whole entire trailer.
It is very much a lot of sand. I always love the style of Dune. I think it looks really cool. And is that the future or is that just a different society?
I think it's the future.
The future?
Yeah.
It looks really stylized. I love the look.
The look is good. The character's dress, it looks good.
Yeah. But I don't think I'd ever want to watch it.
Didn't Eric really like Dune?
No, I don't think he did.
He didn't
watched
see it?
it.
He
But
watched it?
I think he got frustrated because it was, again, just leading up to the next movie.
But I mean, I think when the first one came out, they were kind of clear about that, but it wasn't that, oh, we're definitely making a second one, so the whole story won't be here. It was how it actually ended, where it wasn't a satisfying, like, oh, well, this is the end of a story, at least. It did not feel like that. It just felt like this is half of a movie, a really long half of a movie.
Well, it looks really good, and it's got like every person in it. So there's now more people.
Yeah. And that was another thing people didn't like about the first one was it was, oh, Zendaya. And she was in it for like literally 5 minutes out of a 2+ hour movie. But this
Good advertising.
This one will
Very
actually
smart,
have
dude.
her in it for the whole movie, presumably.
Well, it's a nice trailer. They always make nice trailers for the Dune stuff. So Dune Part 2 will be out November 3rd. Again, looks really nice, but there's a lot. If you want to just jump into a movie, I don't know if you could just jump into this one.
I think you should watch a fast-forwarded version of it, Nikki, because I know you can't sit through the whole thing. Isaiah, I think you should actually watch it.
Which one?
The first one.
And the second one?
Eventually, if you like the first one.
Okay, I'll get there.
If you liked John Carter, I think you might like
movie.
Dune. I think you might like
Heck of
Dune.
a movie.
I need you guys to have a movie night, and then I need to not go. So that's what we all need. But it's coming up on November 3rd. You can probably watch the trailer. I don't think it'll spoil anything.
Yeah, it
Dude,
really gave me nothing.
I
to be
already
honest.
read that Timothée Chalamet's character, it's not necessarily a spoiler, but he rides the sandworm in the movie. And I don't want to see that until it actually happens.
Oh, it wasn't in the trailer.
No, it is.
It is
It
in the
wasn't in
trailer.
there.
It is in the
That
trailer.
was-
Nikki,
that's the sand part.
I want him to watch it and ruin it. It'd be hilarious.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if it was in there.
I'm not that gullible.
Hudson and Isaiah seem like they know a lot about sports, yet somehow it's Nikki that always gets it right. The Riot, Radio U.
I think we need some confession time on the riot.
Some confession?
Yeah, I think we all need to get something off of our chest with the riot hotline.
877-2-Radio-U.
I think it's time for us all to confess what we do on purpose to upset or annoy other people.
Good question.
I think for some that list might be long.
I know. And I think it's time to just let some of that out. It's not only is it, it's good to be honest. It's also, I think it's entertaining to other people. I think like your annoyance to somebody else will also be entertaining to somebody who's not involved.
But do you think people maybe more realize what someone else does to annoy them because you don't always know, you don't always notice what you do that is annoying,
True.
even though we all have things?
Yeah, you're right. You could also report on that to the Riot Hotline.
You just blame someone else.
Yeah, just call somebody else out. And what if they don't even realize that they're not doing it on purpose? But the first one that jumps to my mind is there's a lot of things I probably do on purpose to annoy my wife, and I can't even think of them all.
That's what I was going to say. This is a very like girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife thing because whenever you have a significant other, you guys start getting so bored that you have to do things to annoy the other one to have fun.
Sometimes you just want a reaction out of them,
Yes.
And so one of the things I do is I'll sing a song, but I'll sing the same line of the song over and over again.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
Which I know, isn't it?
I would hate you.
But it's so fun, though. It's so fun if I just start going, all the leaves are brown, all the leaves are brown, all the leaves are brown.
I see.
And
all the
oh my
leaves-
gosh, that's so annoying.
I can't. Like,
I would hate that.
automatically, it just starts to bother you.
Me too. Right away, it's annoying. And the worst part is you would keep going until you get the reaction.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
that's
way you're
exactly
stopping
right.
until your wife says, like, Hudson, please stop. That's so
That's
annoying.
such the relationship thing, because there are some things I do with the intent to, oh, this will annoy her.
Yeah.
And then the first time it doesn't. And the second time. And so I just keep, because she knows, see, I'm just doing it to annoy her.
Yep.
And then it's like a game of chicken, basically.
Who can last longer?
When you hear it all put out like this, are you embarrassed?
No.
You should be.
Are you proud of yourself?
If I
or-
walked into your house and you were doing this, like following her around, like bouncing behind her, I would be like, what is wrong with this guy?
These are the kind of things that help a relationship thrive. This is what keeps our marriage strong.
Apparently, you're still
Yeah.
together. So
All right.
this is this is the glue that holds you together.
That's right. So, don't let me be all alone in this. I know everybody
Oh,
else.
I've got one.
What do you do?
This is for like me and my roommate. But whenever like we're like going out on like the weekends or something and going somewhere to hang out, I purposefully, like right before we're about to leave, we'll try to put on the exact same thing that he's wearing every single time.
What is wrong
He'll come
with
out because like we take forever to get like dressed, and so if he's wearing, and the thing that this happens every weekend, we both end up wearing like something tan, right? Because that's like the color that we both like wearing, and so we'll always say like, oh, are you gonna wear tan? If you're gonna wear tan, I won't. And then if we don't say anything though, he'll come out with like his tan jacket on, and then like right before we're leaving, I'll like be in my bedroom, be like, oh yeah, I'm about ready, and then I'll walk out and I'll be wearing like a tan sweater,
is so
or I'll be wearing the same
annoying.
tan jackets, and he'll be like, dude, you're wearing the exact same thing as me. I'll be like, I put it on first, like I've been dressed for longer, like go change, and
Why?
that makes him so mad.
Why do we get such kicks out of bugging people?
Or like if he's wearing a flannel, then I'll come out in a flannel or something like
Yeah.
that, just to annoy him.
That's great.
Well, congratulations to you on that one.
I know
Yeah.
Nikki's the most annoying, but she won't admit it.
I know.
Hey.
There's no chance Nikki's going to give us any.
I know that she annoys the heck out of Eric, but she's not going to expose herself.
Why don't we give a moment? Let me think about it, because all that's coming to mind is the thing that he does to bother me. And
Of
I don't want to
course.
be that way.
She's fine
so-
throwing him under. She's like, I don't know if I'm annoying, but Eric has this thing.
Yeah.
Awful thing. So if you guys have anything, feel free to text at 877 to Radio U. There's got to be something. We can come up with something on what you do on purpose to annoy or upset someone.
Oh,
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
So the question is, it's confession time. What is something you do to intentionally annoy somebody else? I said I sing the same line of a song over and over again as if it's actually the song to my wife.
The whole thing.
Annoying.
Isaiah says he will copy his roommate's outfit when they're about to go
Now
out.
that's in good taste. That's funny.
That seems fun, but if you do it like every weekend, that must
It's
be so
hilarious.
annoying.
It's hilarious.
You think every weekend he like gets ready and he's like, "This is the weekend. I won't have to change or whatever."
He's like, this is the weekend Isaiah won't come out dressed as the same, because he will never change either. It's not like he'll change. He'll just come out and be like, you're an idiot.
Well, okay,
Change.
so if he just ignores you though, and you guys wear the same outfit out, will that teach you to stop doing it?
Well, if I came out and he didn't say anything, I would go back and I would
okay,
change.
so you're
you
the one who
would?
would
I wouldn't even.
fold.
Oh no, yeah, I'm for sure the one that would fold. I wouldn't wear it. Like I'm putting it on, knowing full well I'm not wearing that. But I
Dang.
think it's so funny.
He should play chicken with you.
I know.
All right, Nikki, you got any?
You know, now that I'm hearing it though, I don't know if I intentionally do this. So, like me being practically perfect. I think there's just something that the only thing that he says I do that annoys him is whenever I'm asking him to do something and say like he has not gotten to it.
Yeah.
So later I'll bring it up again. I always preface it with saying I asked you earlier.
Oh, I hate that.
He hates it so much because he's like, why can't you just ask again and
Yeah.
not make it be like you did ask already? I always do it. And he'll say it and I'm like, yes, I did do that. And I don't know if I intentionally or that's just
it's
how
intentional.
I...
It's
I
so
don't think
intentional.
It is, but it bugs him so bad.
Oh, because she
pretty
could just say
brutal.
like, "Oh, can you take the trash out?"
Yeah.
But she says, Oh, I asked you earlier to do this, but like, could you take the trash out?
Yeah, that extra little dig.
It is an extra dig. It's like I kick him while he's down.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's like, I don't mean to do it, but that comes out first. And then he's just like, just don't say that part. Just ask again.
Ask again and I'll do it. But it's the worst when someone's like, I know I already asked you to do this, but I'm just reminding you.
So I'm very sorry. I don't know if I intentionally do it or not.
It's better if you just to say that it's intentional, because then it's your little way of annoying him.
Yeah.
If it's unintentional, I feel like that makes it worse.
And apparently, the only time I am annoying is when I'm asking for help for something, because then I'll also ask if he'll, fix something or do something, and then I will not give him a moment to do that before I ask for something else. And he's like, wait, let me do one more thing. And so that's it. That's apparently my downfall.
Dang.
Stacking ass.
That's pretty tame, though.
It's not too bad?
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. I got some text here. Jay says, when someone says, don't ask, I ask.
You do? That is so petty.
That's a tough one. What about Kendall, who says he intentionally keeps his order when him and his girlfriend go out to a restaurant? He intentionally keeps it secret until it's until the food comes to the table.
Ooh,
How
nice.
does he do that? Wouldn't
Do
you
you
just
whisper in their ear?
Point at the menu?
point at the menu?
Yeah.
That's just weird. Is he
like
afraid that she'll take his food or something?
Maybe.
I think she's afraid she'll copy her.
Yeah.
She's going to get the same thing as him.
Or maybe, think about it, this is actually what I think. A lot of times people don't want to order the same thing at a restaurant, right? So maybe he just wants to get what he wants to get, and he doesn't want her to worry about copying him.
No drama around the order.
Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds like more work, guy.
It does.
Yeah, that's.
I think you should get something different. You should.
Yeah. What about Colby? Colby works at a grocery store. When a customer annoys him at the grocery store, he'll squish their bread when they're not looking. Yeah.
That's just petty.
That's bad.
That's funny.
Bad. How many customers annoy you, Colby?
You probably
How
does
often
it a
does
lot.
this happen?
That's great.
That's a bad one.
Well, don't worry. I mean, I'm sure he would have squished the bread anyways.
Yeah.
But I bet that makes him feel good.
Oh, that's the worst when you come home and you're like, how did this bread get squished? I put it in the front seat and everything.
That means you annoyed
That's
the person
right.
who is checking out.
That's why I go to the self-checkout.
You don't have to worry. It's only if you squish the bread.
And then I just annoy myself.
Well, those are all good things that we do to purposely or maybe not intentionally, but how do you annoy each other? You can text at 8772 RadioU.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
I've got a job opportunity for somebody out there that might be looking to make a change and really loves birds.
Oh,
The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds has opened up a job opportunity where you would go to an island that is 1,500 miles off the coast of Africa in the South Atlantic Ocean. Mm-hmm. And you would be paid to basically spend 13 months monitoring birds.
on this remote island?
Yeah, you had to study the bird population in this island that's 1,500 miles from anything.
So it's a British territory, and it pays less than $35,000 for the year.
That's pretty good.
But hang on, we're not in this. There's more.
There's more than that, really.
It does require a science degree or an equivalent field experience. You have to have a willingness to work frequent long hours tracking birds.
$35,000 a year
To track birds.
to basically live alone.
Well, do you get like your room and board, or you get food? Are they providing this stuff for you?
I mean, I
questions.
sure would hope if you're on a remote island in the middle of nowhere.
They have to provide all the stuff.
Yeah, but still, you'd think it'd be more lucrative than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, they're trying to get that sweet spot of someone who just needs a break, maybe burned out a bit, loves birds,
Has a love of birds.
cannot stand people.
Yeah, actually,
And they're willing to just take a year
$16
off to
an
do-
hour
to do
job.
this.
Is that equivalent to working at McDonald's at this point?
No, it's less than that. For
Yes,
a
you're right.
small
You're right.
island, and you just want to live there, and they're not getting a seasoned scientist.
the worst part about this is not just that it doesn't pay a ton, because, actually, I bet you there's some bird lovers. Now, 13 months is a long time, but some people, if you just told them, man, I just wish I could just give it all up and just watch birds all the time. There are people who would do that, But
Weirdos.
the weird thing is, if you're on this island out in the middle of nowhere, you never get a break.
Yeah.
You're there for 13 months. You can't just be like, well, I'm a little tired of the birds today. I'd like to just go to the mall or something like that.
You can't ever escape.
You're stuck on this island.
There's other full-time workers. So it's you and like 7 people. That's great if you don't like any of them.
That's what I was thinking.
Or what if you fall in love?
Oh,
Bird
it's all
Island.
worth it then.
You have to eat only packaged or frozen meals. They're stored there annually. So like there's nothing fresh. You don't get anything like that. And that's it for the year.
I don't want to say anything mean about this.
Say something mean. I like it. I'll support you.
I don't think they're going to hear you, but maybe temper it just a bit.
Well, I was just going to say, you can only eat prepackaged and frozen meals. You're basically alone.
Don't say it.
What?
Why don't you just eat the birds?
That's
not what I was going to say. I was just going to say it sounds like kind of being like old and divorced. Or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
It's even worse than the birds.
It is.
All right. Well,
I would say no for me.
That's a pass.
Yeah.
I'm out on that one.
I think we just don't get it. We're just not bird lovers.
And the wild thing, too, is you have to have a science degree. You think, like, you went to college, got a science degree, and then your parents like, what are you going to do? You're like, I'm going to go make $35K watching birds for a year.
And you won't be able to see me.
You get a lot of experience, but I think it'd be fantastic. But I'm only thinking because I've never tried to live alone on an island for a year. But I think I'd start crying maybe day 4, day 5, when you're just scrolling. Oh, do you get internet? Oh, no.
You have to have internet.
Oh,
you have to.
You're
If you don't, then it's over.
You're scrolling Amazon, but you can't buy anything.
Yeah.
The internet would distract you from the birds. So.
That's true. And I would just start talking to the birds. I know it.
Yeah, you would.
I talk to them anyways. Actually, that's day 1.
Yeah.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
What's your opinion on the town of Northampton, Massachusetts?
Mm.
Not a fan.
Well, I mean, it's just normally it's not a hot spot, is it? We don't spring break there.
No, I don't think so. No, that was a sentence that I didn't complete. What is your opinion of the city of Northampton, Massachusetts, deciding to devote $20,000 of their budget to the Northampton Vibrance Committee, who will be using it to create 4 custom manhole covers? Mm-hmm. And those custom manhole covers will feature the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's kind of like in promotion with the movie.
No,
just on their own?
they're just doing it.
Because you could have probably
It's
got
trying
the
to make-
movie to pay for this sort of promotion.
That might have. Do you think that would really be worth $20,000 to the movie
For
studio?
their marketing? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's that animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie come out later this summer.
that's just a
so.
coincidence. Who would look at the manhole cover and go, "Oh yeah, I need to go see the movie"?
So this is in Northampton, Massachusetts.
And the actual reason that they decided to do this is that Northampton, Massachusetts is the original home to something called Mirage Studios. Mirage Studios created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which you might not know this, started off as a comic book.
Oh,
at
so
first.
well, then that makes more sense.
It makes some sense, doesn't it? And as I understand it, the comic book was decidedly not for children, even though Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles evolved a lot over the years and now clearly most of the time is. But they're trying to just celebrate that they were the birthplace of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so they're doing it with manhole covers.
So more people are probably upset that the grant is part of the $4 million that the city got from the rescue plan, the COVID pandemic stimulus package. Nothing says rescue like a
manhole cover?
A manhole cover.
3 years after the fact.
3 years after
Yeah.
all that. So a few are just, a little heads up on like, why is that what we're doing? Does the city not need anything else? But they're also trying to bring probably people in for, this is advertising to come to the
Yeah.
town.
It does make sense. Yeah, as I've looked at moving different places, that has been one thing I've considered widely is manhole covers. I think their first mistake was establishing a vibrance committee in the city because that's just a waste of time. Besides the point,
Well,
but
What do you want them to have, a dullness committee?
I don't think you need that committee whatsoever. I don't think. And number 2, I think if the vibrance committee thinks that this right here is
Yeah.
a good way to vibe up the city, I think we need some new members on the Vibrance Committee because I don't think these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle manhole covers are going to be what's going to be bringing in some new young people.
You could do it a different way because I saw, and I don't like Pokemon, but like in Japan, they did manhole covers throughout different towns in Japan.
Yeah.
And you would go and you'd have a stamp book. And then you would go to the town that had the character. You get the stamp and you do this whole thing. Now, I could be talked into it if there was a book that came with
If they gave me stamps,
I could do it.
they need to incorporate some stamps into this, and Nikki is in.
I'm in for like those silly little things that go with it. But if it's only 4 manhole covers and it's the turtles,
That's not nearly enough
I'm
stamps.
not doing it.
It'll only take me like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
It's not
She's
like
gonna
a whole-
It's not an
whole day
adventure.
activity.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we like the same things.
I'm not
No,
sure.
I love stamp books of manhole covers.
It would be
I
sick.
like stamps, but it made it more fun. I was like, that's so cool. All right, never mind. So this is in Massachusetts. If you want to go see them, you can.
It's going to be a big draw. It
A
definitely
huge.
is.
If they incorporate the stamps, I think they're gonna get stolen. Is what I think is gonna happen. I think someone's gonna
you're
pull them out
probably
of the
right.
ground. They're gonna steal them as a way to combat how
Actually,
angry they are.
I
$20,000
agree.
well spent.
They probably will be stolen.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
Looking for a job is hard.
It is.
Yeah, sometimes it was fun. It is kind of fun, just the possibilities. But then when none of them wind up working out and you get stuck at Radio U with Nikki and Isaiah.
That's all you managed to get.
Yeah, but it definitely is hard, especially if you really need a job. It can be very disheartening. And then when this happens, it makes it even worse. I've got a woman here. I don't know if you've seen this. A woman on TikTok who was applying for a job as a music touring assistant with a creative artist agency.
Like a groupie.
The creative artist agency, one of the biggest
bigger ones?
talent agencies in the United States. And not only did she not get the job, she found out that she was not getting the job 20 minutes after applying.
Well, don't you feel like it's better you just know that you're moving on to the next one and that's not going to work out?
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like I'd rather, compared to other places that string you along for too long.
I guess if you think of it as a relationship, if like you asked somebody out and 20 minutes later,
Yeah.
you knew that they were never going to go out with
Because
you.
if you were too attached within 20 minutes, then you were overly anticipating that you were going to get this job.
So you think it's good?
I actually would prefer it compared to, again, being strung along and then not getting it. Because if you went weeks and weeks and maybe it was you and someone else in competition for the job.
Well, apparently she was not in competition.
Wasn't at all.
She was not even considered.
They knew right away. She's got no chance.
I actually don't think that's so bad to just know, hey, it's not going to work out. Then you can just focus on the next place you want to apply to.
Actually is a good point. I still, like 20 minutes after you apply, feels kind of like a slap in the face. But at the same time, the vast majority of companies, you apply for something and they never get back to
Correct.
Yeah, true.
you can even contact them again, follow back up is what you're supposed to do if you really want the job, and they'll just ignore you.
You're just sad you didn't get the job. That's what you're sad about. But if you found out you got the job and it only took 20 minutes to find that out, like that'd be great news. So.
That is, and they're staying on top of things there.
Sure.
So I don't know. Yeah, she's sharing this as kind of some sob story, and
Boo-hoo.
Well, maybe. I haven't actually heard her response to it. So.
She said she said she feels like they already had somebody picked out for the job, but felt they had to post the job anyway. Probably some like rule with the company.
Sure.
And she responded to that by saying, "I hate that."
So
that does suck.
She emailed her application around 11 a.m. She got her rejection at 11:20 the same day. They said, "We appreciate your interest and the time you've invested in applying for the job. We are impressed with your background. We've chosen not to move forward with your candidacy at this time."
At least they said it nicely, professionally.
Yeah.
I think it's better to know right away.
You think so too?
And I think it happens all the time. You know how many times I've approached a girl and right to my face she says I'm not interested? You know what? I walk away and I'm like, at least I have my answer. She's out of the running.
So I think you move on faster.
Exactly.
Compared to be stringing along. You're right. This is just like a relationship.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I think you guys have convinced me. I think it doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah,
this is preferable to the alternatives.
Doesn't mean you're right for every particular job. So if they're not want to take take you, and you have to move on to find the right place for you.
Maybe this will teach her a valuable lesson.
And if it only takes 20 minutes, it's actually better than never finding out at all.
That's right.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Now, it's no secret, right? Marijuana use is becoming more and more not just not frowned upon, but even legal in so many cases in so many states around the country, and notably in New York City. But that is leading to at least one notable problem, because people are able to more easily get and more freely use the marijuana. They're also leaving it out.
Oh, out at their place and stuff?
Yeah, they're like, I'm smoking a joint. Let me just flick it on the street type stuff. And so that's leading to curious dogs finding this marijuana, pot joints, edibles, the devil's lettuce, and they're getting high accidentally.
Oh, no.
Because they're finding it out in the park and stuff.
And they're eating it?
Yeah.
I see a lot on TikTok. People, and I don't think it's funny, but they'll do a TikTok if their dog gets into edibles and show them all out and stuff.
Yeah.
And you just feel like, poor dog, he doesn't know what's going on. Don't leave that stuff out.
It's not funny, but it kind of is, because they're always okay, right? It's not. I mean, they'd have to eat a lot to really be in big trouble. It's just that they're confused.
You usually have to still take them to the vet, and we know how much that can be.
Yeah,
so it's still not good.
That's the sad part. That
especially
is for sure.
if it's not your stuff, and so you really had nothing to do with it, but your dog got into it.
When you're just walking your dog, the worst is when people just flick things outside. Like if you're gonna smoke your marijuana or whatever you want to do, that's fine. Do your thing, but you need to make sure you're not flicking in places where other people could be around. That's why earlier on when Jim was a puppy, my dog, he would always pick up things that were on the ground. He still does that. Not a puppy anymore. But the big thing for me was I would find cigarette butts in his mouth, or the worst one ever when he's a puppy was gum. He would flick gum.
That makes sense.
And he's a hound dog, so he'd immediately find it with his nose. And then you know how hard it is to get gum out of a puppy's mouth with a razor sharp teeth.
Oh, it is someone else's gum too.
It's somebody else's gum. My dog's chewing on it. I'm trying to pull it out of my dog's mouth. Let alone if it was a little bit of weed in there. I'm trying to pull the weed out of his mouth. Oh, I can just imagine.
The sad part is that's not even near the grossest thing that's probably been in his mouth.
I pull poop out of his mouth.
No, I knew you were going to say it. I knew that. Can we just clean up everything, please?
I know. Stop throwing things on the ground.
You know what we need?
That my dog's going to eat.
More ashtrays.
No, more anything. Just put in the trash.
Yeah.
That's all you
but
got
what
to
if
do.
it starts a fire?
I think it's contained. It's okay. It's
That's just
all right.
a dumpster fire. It's okay.
Yeah, just a small dumpster fire, which isn't it always anyways.
This is, you can't be careless with it's still drugs, even if they're legal now. You can't just be throwing them out everywhere, because it's not, I don't know if it's legal for dogs, but it's not advised, I don't think.
It's legal.
It's legal for dogs?
I don't know if it's legal for dogs to be smoking the dope. What do you mean?
What, are you going to arrest the dog?
You can't take my dog.
But you'd be arrested as the owner of
because it would
doing
be
something against the dog that they can't
do.
The
dog could just say, I was holding it for a friend.
Oh, gosh. All right.
And it would be accurate.
I think I'm more disgusted also about the gum. So let's not leave the gum out as well, because that
gum
would be
was terrible.
So gross to have to get out of their mouth.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.